Once upon a time, there was a boy who was walking home from school, eating his lunch, and finally, he came across a meteor crash site. He thought there would be radiation, so he was scared. But then something started pulling him towards it. He put out some of the fire, walked closer to it, and he saw that there was something inside. He touched it, and he touched it. He picked it up some sort of pod. He was trying to place it back down on the floor, but when he put it on, something weird happened. It looked like it was on his chest. It looked weird. But then he searched. He saw something in the distance. He saw some sort of floating island. But when he looked at the watch that was stuck upon his wrist, he slapped it, and his body turned into some sort of ghost. He was really worried, so he started franticing around, and he started flying towards the ocean. And he saw some squids and was scared. Then he somehow turned invisible. He was really freaked out by this. He turned back to normal. He kept on flying forwards. Saw multiple scary enemies. Somehow he faced through a solid object. He really was a ghost. He looked and saw that his clothes were gone. He was really scared by that. He saw so many birds. He was scared. He stopped flying for a second. Went up to the birds and punched one. Usually he didn't have that amount of strength. And somehow he killed one of the villagers. He flew back to his village, went and noticed that he couldn't let any of his friends see him like this, because he knew that they would laugh at him or be scared. Either one, it wouldn't have been good. So he turned invisible. Then he faced through a tree and thought, maybe I could just head into my house. So what he did was he saw his house, floated into it, stayed invisible, and just waited and waited. And then he thought, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. But then he didn't want to risk it, so he phased through his wall and out the other end of the wall. He left his house behind, flied around for a while, looking for somewhere to go, and he noticed he was getting hungry. So he saw some cows. Somehow the ghost was thinking, part of his body was like, no, I don't want to eat those cows. And the other part said, yes, I'm going to eat them. So what he did was he flew towards them. Then he started fighting with his body. He stopped flying for a minute, waited, and collected himself. He saw that he had a chicken sandwich in his backpack. He ate it, and then he felt a lot better afterwards. He started flying towards a forest. The forest was said to be haunted. So, since he was a monster, he thought that that place would suit him. And he thought that he should also make his way in the world. So, he found a good spot to stop, punched out some trees, got the wood, got a little wood from part of the tree. He didn't want to destroy too much of it because a lot of people from Team Trees lived in this village. So he broke the wood down into wood planks, turned the wood plank into a crafting table, made some sticks, and thought maybe I should collect more trees. So he turned the sticks into a wooden axe, and he thought that he should also make a wooden sword, even though he knew he had super strength. So, what he did is he saw that it was getting dark. So, he started flying back around the area, trying to see if there was anywhere he could stay for the night. But there wasn't, so he just had to wait out the night. In the morning, he decided he would head back to his village. So, he headed back. On his way back, he headed back to his village. On his way back, he noticed that the ghost part of him was starting to take control again. He started to take control of himself slightly. He flew to the ground, flew back towards his village, was scared that they would see him, so he turned back into his invisible form. He was like, maybe I could see if one of my friends could help. Then a red light flashed and he turned back to normal. He was like, he thought that his parents wouldn't like him having all these weapons. So he quickly went to a nearby tree, chopped it down. While he was chopping it down, he knew that he saw that his school principal was on his way. So he grabbed all the wood, turned them into wood planks, quickly turned them into a chest. Grabbed it and said hi to his school principal and went back to his house, towards his house. He said hi to the local big crystal, guy who works stuff with the armor. He saw that someone was stuck and was like, what an idiot. He saw that the local crazy jam guy was here, said hi, saw the cartographer was there, another armorer, and walked into his house. He put down his chest, put all of his stuff in there, and noticed that he forgot to put back on his clothes, so he quickly put them back on and looked at the watch. And thought, this can't be good. How do I get and kept on thinking, how do I get this off? Then he was like, where have I seen this before? And then he went to go watch some TV. While he was watching the TV, he saw that on the show that a meteorite had fallen from the sky and had called it the Omnitrix. So he saw that was the exact one that he found, so he decided to call this new watch the Omnitrix, and he pressed a button again, and it made a noise. He saw that there were 10 human-looking creatures on it. He looked at one, thought it looked good, and pressed it. This one looks like a crystal creature, not the ghost one that he's seen before. He raised his hand and it shot out multiple crystal spikes. He put his hand on the ground in shock and it created a wall of crystals. And then it disappeared. He decided he would call the last one Ghost Freak and the new one Diamond Head. He was worried that his friends would see him again, so what he did was he made up a wall. He made a wall, 2 walls up, but then they crumbled to the ground. He saw that it was getting late, so he heard that his friends and family were all going on a luxury vacation, so he snuck around into his house real quickly and saw that he was too big to fit in the door, so he ran towards a nearby tree and slept under it for the night. Now, once he got up and woke up from under the tree, he saw that one of the that he should probably use this power for good. So he saw that one of his friends saw him and knocked him out with his ice spike. He was so shocked at what he'd done, he ran away. He said he wanted to be a superhero, but he just hurt someone. So he ran and never looked back. He knew that he would have to return eventually, but instead of returning, he knew he would have to make a new name for himself. He thought that maybe he should become a superhero, so that's exactly what he did. He saw some crooks beating up cows for no reason, shot them with his crystal abilities, and he knew he would have to sneak back into his house to go and see what... He knew he would have to go back into his house. But once he was about to head back, he turned back into himself. So what he did was he knew that this would be the perfect opportunity to head back to his village and grab all his stuff. And once he would grab his stuff, he would never return. Or so he thought. He returned back to his village just to say goodbye. He said that he was going to follow his parents back on that luxury vacation, but he needed more than just what he had. He knew that He knew that the local armorer has a lot of incredibly useful items. So he grabbed up his wood, his sword and axe, and ran for the local armorer. So he went in there, saw a black lotus, a strong emits strong magical vibes. He saw 2 iron swords and multiple instructions for something he knew wouldn't come in handy at that time. So he took his iron sword in one iron sword in one hand, another in another hand, and started running away, knowing that the police would catch him eventually. So, what he did was he thought he could turn into another animal. This one, he was shocked to see that he was on fire, but it didn't hurt. He shot a fireball out of his hand and said, "I'll call this guy Heat Blast." He accidentally shot a laser of fire and was extremely scared. So what he did was he shot more fire at it, and somehow it put out the fire. Now, he started running for the hills because he knew that he would have to find somewhere to live. He knew that a crazy person believed in aliens, so he went to go talk to them. But then he remembered that they said that they were going to space. I didn't believe it, but now I kind of do. So, I thought that it would be good to get some wood, so I tried shooting fire at a tree, and it burned to the ground. I was so shocked at what I had done that I didn't even bother putting out the fire. I ran for my life, thinking that someone was there. I saw sharks. Then the alien form, that's what he had included, has started taking control. Shot fire at a sheep, killed it with his bare hands. Wolfed down the meat. He was still very shocked at burning down the tree and killing those sheep. So, he thought that he would just go and ask his village for forgiveness. But he knew that wouldn't happen. So what he did was, once he thought that when he turned back to his normal form, he would call that timing out. So he looked at his alien forms again and looked at their shapes to name them. He called the first one Heat Blast, the second one Diamond Head, third one Ghost Freak, fourth Forearms, fifth Stink Fly, sixth Accelerate, seventh Wild Mutt, ninth. Actually, wait, sorry. The seventh, Wild Mutt. Eighth, Gray Matter. Ninth, Brick Jaws. And 10th, Upgrade. These would be his great aliens from now on. He decided he would turn into Wild Mutt. He saw that this alien wasn't only blind, but he could jump really high, dig through, and he could climb up walls. But he thought that since this alien was blind, but he still had a very good sense of smell. That since this alien was blind, it couldn't so somehow answering his prayers, the Omnitrix turned back to normal. He thought that eventually he was wondering if he would get any new aliens. He was wondering if he would have any new aliens. But he doubted that he would. So, to the best looking alien at the moment, swam across a river that was nearby, and he picked up some sand and threw it as a boulder. He had turned into 4 arms. Had actually 4 arms. He thought that this name was pretty obvious, so he swam across another river, not knowing what would be here because he had never tried before. He saw a jungle in another floating island. He saw that the sun was setting, so he went under a tree to sleep for the night. The 3rd morning, he woke up and he was really hungry. He thought that since his aliens were so good at hunting, they should probably do the hunting. His alien form should probably do the hunting. He set his hand on fire and started punching pigs. He killed 4 pigs and thought that it would be best to eat their meat as normal. But he thought he would test out his powers. He shot a fireball, then a fireball. He thought that since there were too many trees in the area, he would burn down some so that he could leave some wood behind for someone to ran towards a nearby forest, but thought maybe I shouldn't. So he started swimming across a river. Saw a squid in the distance, and since he now had the Omnitrix, he wasn't afraid of them. So he thought that he would now start testing out the aliens. Back to Wild Mutt. And Wild Mutt allowed him to see things all around him. He smelled a pack of wolves because he had owned dogs a lot in the past. And he thought that since Wild Mutt is technically a dog, he smelled himself. turned back to this new alien. He didn't know who he was yet, but he saw that he would be useful in the future. He saw that the wolves stop attacking him, but when he thought he could be friends and back close in, they attacked. So he thought that the alien could help him. He couldn't. So he ran. He ran like a coward. What would his friends think? Then he ran towards them, killing both of them. One dropped its tooth. He said he would give the tooth. Sparing it. Feeling awful about what he had done, he ran, but he saw that there were piranhas in the river, so he thought, what should I do? He saw a parrot drop on the ground, washed it in the nearby river, and then it tastes so good. He got 2 new hearts. He pressed a button on the Omnitrix, and it said the Omnitrix's level. He was shocked at this. He saw that he was at level 8. He saw that since he had 10 aliens, he wondered what would happen once he got to level 10. But he was worried as well. So he turned to that alien was tiny. He saw that this one was gray matter. But he also saw that he was extremely intelligent as gray matter. So he ran around trying to see what the most logical thing was, and thought that these aliens could help him more ways than one. Not just to defend from animals, but also to defend him from criminals. So he jumped off a tree, started swimming in the river, and once he stopped, he started planting some flowers, and then he ran back to the village. He saw his house in the distance. Worried what his friends would think of him, he started slowly making his way around the mountain. This was a lot harder because he was so small size. He turned back to normal, saw more wolves, but thought that he wouldn't kill more innocent animals. So he jumped into the river, hiding his scent from the animals, jumped on trees to escape from the wolves, kept on jumping up on the trees, thinking it would be a lot easier as one of his aliens. And then he saw that they thought I had died out there. So I jumped down, telling them I had not died, but that I had escaped because I thought they would attack. They asked me why they thought I would attack them. And So I told them. They were, of course, shocked at this. So shocked that they started lighting fires and throwing them at me. But since I was made out of fire, it did not harm me. I didn't even feel it. If anything, it healed me. And I told the cleric who had returned from outer space, as I said before, that I am somehow turning into aliens. The cleric said that he would eventually have someone find it. So I showed him what I could do. And I told him how I thought this could be useful. He said that we needed to hide. So I said I would live in his house for a while. That's exactly. So I placed down a crafting table. Thought that it would be a smart decision to make a ladder up to where I would be living. Went up. And then I turned the rest of my wooden planks into slabs. I used these slabs to create a small room up here. In the morning, I woke up and I was knowing that I should test out the Omnitrix a lot more. So what I did was I cycled through my aliens, thinking I should use that one I've used before, but I didn't know what to use it for exactly. So I turned into gray matter. I didn't know what I could use him for. And I thought, I started the pig. I didn't know that gray matter would. He started attacking the pig in places to make him knock out. Once the pig knocked out, I thought, I wonder what else he can do. Saw that he knew how to make multiple different types of foods, and I also saw that he was really smart at farming, and he knew what all the other aliens that at my disposal could do. So I thought that I should use him to see what all my different aliens did. Started attacking animals, and I saw that for a while I haven't been being taken over by the aliens. For some reason, had made a furnace when I turned into him. I didn't know why, but when I was gray matter, I remembered me saying that my 10th alien would help a lot. The alien's name would be Upgrade. Upgrade would be able to wrap his body around something like a symbiote. And once he wrapped himself around it, he could control what it does, but it had to be technology. So, I also learned that every single time I used the Omnitrix, it didn't give me the alien I cycled to. So, I tried to turn into Upgrade, but instead, I turned into Heat Blast. I thought that this alien would be useful in the future, and that I could use different things. Thought that I could use different things for him. So before I could think of what to do, I accidentally turned into an alien and turned back. But yeah, that should wrap it up for today's video. Hope you enjoyed the storylined video. I have never done them. Yes, I will still be doing my other series. Thanks for watching.